I got a text from my gym at 2:47 on a Wednesday afternoon. Your membership has been transferred to another account. Contact us if this is an error. My name is Garrett Lawson. I'm 38 years old, and I used to think loyalty meant something. I worked as an operations manager for a logistics company in Denver, pulling in $92,000 a year. My wife Diana and I had been married for 6 years, living in a small ranch house in Lakewood that we bought together in 2019. She was a paralegal at a downtown firm, smart and driven, the kind of woman who made lists for everything. 3 months earlier, she joined an upscale gym called Apex Fitness, saying she wanted to get healthy. I supported it completely, even paid the $200 monthly membership from our joint account. I stared at that text for a full minute before calling the gym. The receptionist, a young guy named Brady, sounded uncomfortable. Your wife came in yesterday with her personal trainer. She said you two were separating and she needed to transfer the account. I felt my stomach drop. We weren't separating. At least, nobody had told me we were. What's the trainer's name? I asked, keeping my voice steady. Brady hesitated. I'm not supposed to give out that information. His name is Colt Mercer, right? I said, taking a guess based on Diana's recent phone behavior. The silence told me everything. I hung up and sat in my truck outside the warehouse, watching forklifts move pallets while my world quietly fell apart. That night, Diana came home late, smelling like expensive cologne that wasn't mine. She barely looked at me as she grabbed a water bottle from the fridge. We need to talk, she said. Her voice was flat, rehearsed. I've been thinking about us, and I don't think this is working anymore. I watched her standing there in her new workout clothes, her hair different, her whole energy different. This is about Colt, I said. She flinched but recovered quickly. This is about me finally being happy. I'm moving out this weekend. I need space to figure things out. She turned toward our bedroom, conversation apparently over. Where are you going? I asked. She paused at the doorway. Staying with a friend. You wouldn't know her. The friend turned out to be Colt Mercer. I knew because I did what any reasonable person would do when their spouse suddenly announces they're leaving. I checked our phone records online. Hundreds of texts and calls to the same number over the past 2 months. Most of them during work hours and late at night. I also checked our bank statements. Diana had been pulling cash, $300 here, $500 there, adding up to nearly $4,000 over 8 weeks. Our savings account, which had $23,000 in it last time I looked, now showed $11,400. She'd transferred $11,600 without telling me. I sat at our kitchen table at midnight, going through documents while Diana slept in our guest room. She'd already moved herself out emotionally. I was just catching up to reality. Friday came and Diana packed 2 suitcases while I was at work. I came home to half-empty closets and a note on the kitchen counter. I'll be back next week for the rest. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. The house felt enormous and silent. I checked every room, cataloging what she'd taken. Jewelry, clothes, her laptop, family photos from her side. She'd left everything we bought together, probably because she was planning to come back for it. That's when I noticed something else missing. The spare key we kept in the kitchen drawer was gone. I tried the front door. My key still worked, but I had a feeling that wouldn't last long. I pulled out my phone and called my brother-in-law, Rodney, who worked in real estate. Rodney met me at a coffee shop on Saturday morning. He looked uncomfortable, like he knew more than he wanted to say. Listen, Garrett, he started, stirring his coffee. Diana called my sister yesterday. She's planning to file for divorce next week. I nodded slowly. Did she mention Colt? Rodney sighed. Yeah, she thinks she's in love with this guy. Met him at the gym 2 months ago. My sister tried to talk sense into her, but Diana's not listening to anyone right now. I appreciated Rodney's honesty. He didn't owe me anything, but he was a decent guy. There's something else, he said quietly. Diana asked my sister about property law. She wants to know if she can force a sale of your house. I felt cold anger settle in my chest. The house is in both our names, I said. She can try, Rodney replied, but it'll get messy. Monday morning, I took a personal day from work and drove to see a lawyer. Her name was Vanessa Price, and she'd handled my buddy's divorce 2 years earlier. I explained the situation while she took notes. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair. First thing, get your finances separated immediately. Second, document everything. Third, don't leave that house under any circumstances. If you leave, she can claim abandonment and it strengthens her position. Vanessa pulled up some documents on her computer. Colorado is an equitable distribution state. Marital assets get divided fairly, not necessarily equally. Since you bought the house together and both names are on the deed, you each have claim to half the equity. I wrote her a check for $3,500 as a retainer. Best money I ever spent. I got home from the lawyer's office at 4:30. My key didn't work anymore. She'd changed the locks. I stood on my own porch, key in hand, trying to process the audacity. I called Diana. She answered on the fourth ring, music playing in the background. You changed the locks on our house, I said, keeping my voice level. It's my house too, Garrett. I need to feel safe while I'm getting my things. You don't even live here anymore. You left. There was a pause. I'm coming back Wednesday to pack the rest. We can talk then. She hung up. I immediately called Vanessa Price. She answered despite it being after business hours. She can't legally lock you out of a jointly owned property, Vanessa said firmly. Call the police non-emergency line and report it. Get it documented. Then call a locksmith and change them again. Make sure you give her a key, though. She has legal right to access. The police report took 30 minutes. Officer named Caldwell showed up, took my information, verified my name was on the deed, and wrote everything down. This happens more than you'd think, he said. Keep a copy of this report. You'll need it for court. The locksmith arrived at 7 o'clock, charged me $340 to rekey the whole house. I had him make 2 sets. One for me, one for Diana that I'd hand her myself when she showed up Wednesday. I wasn't going to give her any ammunition to use against me later. That night, I went through our house with my phone, taking photos and videos of everything. Every piece of furniture, every appliance, every item of value. Vanessa had told me to create a record of all marital assets before things disappeared. Tuesday, I got a call from my bank. Mr. Lawson, we're showing some unusual activity on your joint checking account. Your wife attempted to withdraw $8,000 this morning. We flagged it because it's significantly above normal patterns. Did you authorize this? No, I said immediately. Can you freeze the account? We can place a hold requiring dual signatures for withdrawals above $500. Would you like us to do that? Yes, do it now. The representative paused. Sir, this will affect your wife's access as well. She'll need your signature for large transactions. That's exactly what I want, I said. Within an hour, I got 7 missed calls from Diana. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I sent a text. Joint account means joint decisions. See you Wednesday. Her response came immediately. You're being vindictive and cruel. I'm trying to start my life over. My reply was simple. With my money, try again. Wednesday morning, I took another personal day. Diana was supposed to arrive at 10 o'clock to get her remaining things. I'd prepared everything carefully. At 9:45, a truck pulled into my driveway. Not a rental truck. A nice Ford F-250 with custom rims. Colt Mercer climbed out of the driver's seat, all 6 feet 2 inches of him, muscles bulging under a tight shirt. Diana got out of the passenger side wearing sunglasses that probably cost $400. I watched from the window as Colt walked up to my door and knocked. I let him knock 3 times before I opened it. She changed the locks, Colt said, like he was explaining something to a child. She needs to get her stuff. I looked past him at Diana, who was standing by the truck looking uncomfortable. The locks were changed because she illegally locked me out of my own house, I said calmly. I'm the homeowner. I changed them back. Colt stepped closer, trying to intimidate me with his size. Look, man, just let her get her things and we'll be out of your hair. I pulled out my phone and showed him the screen. I've got Officer Caldwell on speed dial. He's waiting for my call if there's any trouble here. Now, Diana can come get her personal items, but you're staying on the driveway. This is between me and my wife. Colt's jaw clenched, but Diana put a hand on his arm. It's fine, she said quietly. Let me just get my stuff. I stepped aside and let her in. She moved quickly through the house, grabbing clothes, toiletries, more photos. Every time she reached for something that wasn't clearly hers, I cleared my throat. The coffee maker stays, I said when she tried to pack it. We bought that together. It's a $40 coffee maker, Garrett. Then it should be easy for you to buy a new one. Diana made 3 trips to the truck, Colt carrying boxes like an overpaid moving service. On her final trip, she stopped in the kitchen doorway. I know you're hurt, she said, but this doesn't have to be ugly. We can handle this like adults. I looked at her, this woman I'd loved for 6 years, standing in our kitchen with her new boyfriend waiting outside. You drained our savings, changed the locks on our house, and tried to withdraw $8,000 without telling me, I said quietly. You started the ugly, Diana. I'm just finishing it. She left without another word. I watched the truck pull away, then I called Vanessa Price. She came by, I said. Got her personal items. Good, Vanessa replied. Now we wait for her to file. When she does, we'll be ready. I hung up and sat in my quiet house, surrounded by half-empty rooms, and started planning my next move. I spent the next week preparing. Vanessa had given me homework. Compile a list of all marital assets, all debts, all financial records. I worked on it every night after work, building a comprehensive picture of everything Diana and I had accumulated together. The house, purchased in 2019 for $285,000, now worth about $340,000 according to recent comparables. My 401k with $67,000 in it. Her 401k with $31,000. Our 2 cars. Mine, a 2018 Toyota Tacoma, paid off. Hers, a 2021 Honda CR-V with $18,000 still owed. Furniture, appliances, everything. I photographed receipts, logged serial numbers, created spreadsheets. If Diana wanted to play hardball with assets, I was going to be ready. I also did something else. I hired a private investigator named Mills. He charged $125 an hour, and he was worth every penny. Mills called me Friday evening. Got what you need, he said. Your wife and Colt Mercer are living together in his condo downtown. Lease is in his name only. I've got photos of them coming and going, timestamps, the works. He sent me a digital file with 24 photos. Diana and Colt holding hands outside his building. Diana getting into his truck. The 2 of them at restaurants, grocery shopping, acting like a couple. All time-stamped and dated. This proves she left the marital home to cohabitate with another man. I said to Vanessa when I forwarded everything. Does that matter in Colorado? It matters for the narrative, Vanessa replied. Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, so adultery doesn't affect the divorce itself. But it absolutely affects how a judge views credibility and character. If she tries to claim she needs more assets because she's vulnerable or you drove her away, these photos tell a different story. The divorce papers came via process server on a Monday morning. I was served at my office, which was humiliating, but I kept my composure. Diana was petitioning for divorce, requesting half the equity in the house, half my 401k, spousal maintenance, and $15,000 in attorney fees. I read through the filing carefully. She claimed we'd grown apart, that the marriage was irretrievably broken, all the standard language. What she didn't mention was Colt Mercer or the money she'd already taken or the locks she'd changed. Her lawyer was painting her as the reasonable party just trying to move on. I called Vanessa immediately. We've got 21 days to respond, she said after I read her the filing. Don't worry. I'm already drafting our answer. We're going to counterclaim for everything she took and ask the court to credit you for the savings she drained. Our response filing was surgical. Vanessa documented every withdrawal Diana made, every expenditure that benefited only her, the lock change, the attempted $8,000 withdrawal. We requested the court credit me for the $11,600 she'd taken from savings, plus half of everything she'd bought for herself with marital funds during the separation. We also filed a motion to prevent her from making any large purchases or taking on debt in joint names. The filing landed on Diana's lawyer like a bomb. 3 days later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. "Garrett, it's Diana. We need to talk about these court papers. Your lawyer is being completely unreasonable." I stayed calm. Everything in those papers is true and documented. You took money, Diana. You changed locks. You tried to drain our account. Those are facts. She sighed dramatically. I needed that money to start over. You have a job and a place to live. I had nothing. You had a husband and a home, I replied. You chose to leave both for your personal trainer. That was your decision. Now you live with the consequences. There was a long pause. My lawyer says this is going to get expensive if we fight. I'm willing to negotiate. What do you want? I considered my answer carefully. I want what's fair. You pay back the $11,600 you took. We split the house equity 50-50. We each keep our own retirement accounts. You keep your car and its loan. I keep mine. We divide furniture and household items reasonably. And no spousal maintenance. You make your own money. Diana laughed bitterly. You're dreaming if you think I'm giving up spousal support. Then we'll let the judge decide, I said, and hung up. Vanessa had warned me this would happen. First offer is always a negotiation tactic. Stand firm on what's fair. Don't give in to pressure. The preliminary hearing was set for 6 weeks out. In the meantime, Mills kept gathering evidence. Colt Mercer, it turned out, had an interesting history. 2 previous relationships with married women, both of whom left their husbands for him. One of those ex-girlfriends, a woman named Simone, was willing to talk. He has a pattern, Simone told me over coffee. He targets married women at the gym, women who are vulnerable or unhappy. He makes them feel special, desired. Then once they leave their husbands and the money runs out, he moves on to the next one. He told Diana he loved her? Probably, Simone said. He told me the same thing. Right up until my divorce was final and my ex-husband's money was gone. Then Colt suddenly needed space. I thanked Simone and shared everything with Vanessa. This establishes a pattern of predatory behavior, Vanessa said. We can use it. The night before the hearing, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about everything that had led to this moment. Diana's late nights at the gym. Her new clothes. The way she'd stopped asking about my day. All the signs I'd ignored because I trusted her. I thought about Colt Mercer, this predator who made a living seducing married women. And I thought about the house we'd built together, the life we'd planned, all of it dissolving because she wanted excitement over stability. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I got up and reviewed all my documents one more time. Everything was in order. Every receipt, every bank statement, every photo, every piece of evidence organized and ready. Whatever happened in that courtroom, I was prepared. Diana had underestimated me. She thought I'd roll over and let her take whatever she wanted. She was wrong. I fell asleep just before dawn, confident and calm. The hearing lasted 4 hours. Diana's lawyer argued she deserved more because she'd sacrificed career opportunities for the marriage. Vanessa countered with Diana's own pay stubs showing she'd gotten 2 raises during our marriage and never stopped working. Diana's lawyer claimed the money she took was for legitimate expenses. Vanessa presented receipts showing $3,200 of it went to designer clothes and dinners with Colt. The judge, a woman named Holland with sharp eyes and no patience for games, listened to everything without comment. At the end, she made her temporary orders. The house would remain in my possession until final division. All joint accounts were frozen pending final hearing. Diana would pay me back $400 monthly toward the money she'd taken. And no spousal maintenance until the final hearing where it would be decided permanently. Diana looked devastated. I felt only relief. Walking out of the courthouse, I saw Diana and Colt standing by his truck. She was crying. He was on his phone. Neither of them looked at me. I drove home to my house, walked through rooms that were finally starting to feel like mine again, and called my brother. "It's not over yet," I told him, "but I'm winning." He laughed. She picked the wrong guy to underestimate. That night, I got a text from Diana. "You've made your point. Can we please settle this without destroying each other?" I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I poured a drink and sat on my back porch, looking at the mountains in the distance. Diana had betrayed me, stolen from me, tried to lock me out of my own home, but she'd also underestimated my resolve. I texted back, "Send me a fair settlement offer through your lawyer. We'll see." 3 months later, we reached an agreement. She paid back every dollar, took her car and her debt, and walked away with $30,000 from the house equity. I kept everything else. The divorce was final on a Tuesday. I changed the locks one more time, just because I could. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and leave a comment telling me what you thought. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to get alerts about new stories like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.